I'll go through all of today's Tesla stock news, and we'll start with something that I think is the biggest Tesla stock news story of the whole year to me as a long-term Tesla stock investor. Alexander says, holy smokes! James Dama is having a hard time believing this video is even real. James usually doesn't get excited about things like this, but he can't sleep anymore thinking about it. Wall Street analyst Pierre says this is mind-blowing progress. Stephen Mark Ryan thinks this is insanely bullish. And Sawyer says it is going to change the world. And here it is, Optimus is now capable of self-calibrating its arms and legs. Just now it was barely able to walk. Remember that presentation from earlier? Using only vision and joint position encoders, it can precisely locate its limbs in space. That's a big deal. Accurately calibrated Optimus learns various tasks more efficiently. See how it sorts these things? Its neural net runs entirely on board using only vision. That's very limited compute that it's working with. For example, it can sort these blocks by color fully autonomously. And it does so while dealing with the dynamic reality of our world. See, the guy messes it up and Optimus still picks it up. Nice. Optimus also demonstrates autonomous corrective action capabilities. Oh, so it messed it up and then it corrects itself. It can be trained to conduct new tasks such as unsorting. I know companies that would pay a ton of money for something like that. And this is a bit silly, but it shows you how much progress Tesla has made. I mean, the bot can actually move now. This is a big deal. The body dynamics are so good, I'm having a hard time believing this video is real. This is the neural network-based body control I have been waiting to see. Robot movement should be efficient, graceful, even beautiful. Impressive progress, says James Dauma. Yeah, indeed, these fingers, they move like human fingers, and the manual dexterity is absolutely nuts. Elon also commented here, improvements are also coming in the actuator, sensors, and overall mechanics of Optimus, so everything is getting better. I can't sleep, I keep thinking about Tesla bot, says James. The applications for the bot are endless. Random example, think about McDonald's. Minimum wage plus benefits save $40,000 per year. If one bot replaces that one employee, payback period is 1 year, but McDonald's would capitalize the asset and only depreciation would hit the P&L. Say over 5 years at an upfront cost of $40,000, $8,000 per year instead of $40,000 per year, savings of $32,000 per employee per year, multiplied by how many thousands of employees everywhere. This is absolutely insane. Think about grocery stores, for example. Do you think that with some training, eventually the bot will be able to restock all of the shelves? I mean, I don't think it will be terribly difficult to program the bot to understand which item is which, because if it's packaged, then it's very easy to tell the difference. I mean, if it can tell the difference between green and blue Legos that look somewhat similar, I think it will be able to tell a difference between many different items in the grocery store, and it will be able to restock all of the shelves. I don't think this is like 30 years away. I think with what we just saw here today, I think that could possibly be coming relatively soon. I need to think about more exactly when, but it's not decades away. And many loading, unloading jobs could be replaced by this. Or think about Amazon workers in the warehouses, the ones that have to pick up an item and then put it in a package and then close the package and then send it off to a customer. The bot could easily do that. Maybe not right now, of course, but in the future, I can so clearly see with what Tesla just demonstrated here, I can so easily see that it is very, very possible. And really, it's inevitable. I really think that for me, this is the biggest Tesla stock news of the year. I mean, the end-to-end stuff, version 12, that was insane. But this is actually implementing it now. It shows that it actually works. It's doing something that I can see being very useful. For example, I remember being in one factory and I basically saw something similar to this. A product comes out of a machine, but then you have to take the product and just put it where it can then be packed. So it was just a lot of manual labor, and a Tesla bot could easily do anything like this, really. I mean, a lot can be automated, but some things are just sometimes a bit difficult to completely automate with machines that can't easily move around, but the Optimus will be able to easily move around. You can put it anywhere. This neural network is trained fully end to end. Video in, controls out. So as long as you have video footage of people doing the job, you just feed that footage and automatically it knows how to do the task. I can't tell you how big of a deal that actually is, because it means you can buy it. And Tesla could have no formal training for how to do your task, but you just film your employees doing the task, you feed the footage to the bot, and all of a sudden, it learns how to do it. That is the future. Elon simply calls it progress. Ashok, who leads Tesla's full self-driving team, says neural networks plus cameras work amazingly well and are really the solution to robotics. Same solution for the car, for Optimus, and will be for all such artificial animals. These robots do use additional sensing such as audio, proprioception, temperature, etc., just like most animals, but no LiDAR, radar, ultrasonics, or HD maps shenanigans. It will become so obvious over the coming years, we will be wondering why anyone thought those were a great idea. Improvements are also coming in the actuators, sensors, and overall mechanics of Optimus. Wall Street analyst Pierre says, while everybody speculates about the very uncertain robotaxi opportunity, what I consider by far the #1 next big thing after autos, FSD, and energy storage at Tesla, so the Optimus bot, is making mind-blowing progress. Insanely bullish, says Steven. The two ingredients necessary for massively expanding the global labor market with useful humanoid robots: #1, vision, perception, planning, and action. This is almost solved, end-to-end is huge. And then #2, superhuman hand job capability, approaching fast. The demo shows incredible dexterity, soft touch, and ability to manipulate objects. With more training, it's only a matter of time. Even if you bought Tesla stock at the very top, a happy ending is in sight. Rate of progress is insane. Don't sleep on Tesla bot, says Steven. Optimus will change everything. Everything, he emphasizes. This robot has potential to change everything. The secret sauce is Tesla's real-world AI foundation model that is allowing Tesla to build a robot brain with end-to-end neural networks. Also, Tesla is building all the actuators from scratch. We are likely going to see Optimus' abilities radically improve in the coming months. Now imagine being out of Tesla stock because you think, oh, you know, I can make a bit more extra money because I think it is going down, and in the short term you end up being right, and then Tesla announces something major, the Optimus bot, let's say 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, and the stock just soars and you missed out. That's one reason why I would never trade Tesla stock. It's just too risky to be out of it. Also, if you put Optimus bots in a chocolate factory, you don't need to worry about some of your product missing. Also, looking at this, it makes me think of washing dishes. I mean, the bot washing dishes. I think in the near future, it will be able to do it pretty well. I mean, it's able to navigate these little problems here. I think it could do it pretty soon. And I am very certain that pretty much already, if it was trained and fed the data to load a dishwasher, put in the soap in the dishwasher, then unload the dishwasher, I think it could pretty much already do it. Already, it could probably wash dishes by hand too. Jason says, after watching this video several more times, yes, the movements appeared to be almost too natural and fluid. Show me another humanoid robot that has this kind of dexterity. I'm not going to read some of these comments here, but I will say that a happy ending for Tesla stock investors, even if you bought at the top, is in sight, because Tesla loves getting their hands on a hard problem. Bradford says this is exactly the progress we have been expecting, and he published some research about the Tesla bot recently, and he sort of got laughed at by some people, but I don't think anyone really is laughing at him right now. The Tesla bot will be 4 times faster, dexterous, and agile within a year, he predicts, and maybe ambidextrous. Though I do wonder if they are struggling to incentivize speed in training. Is the time concept hard for AI? It's going to be so fascinating to watch all of this progress. Alexandra is actually pretty wealthy, and she definitely does not need to do this for her husband, but very soon she will never have to do it ever again if they do get a Tesla bot. I am pretty sure a Tesla bot could definitely learn how to do this, because it's basically, yeah, it's sort of different every time, but also very similar. So you just show it a million clips of people ironing, and I think it could probably figure it out pretty quickly. Chuck points out something that I missed. Don't forget, when they start to take over the world, just push the red button behind their neck if you can actually get to it. I mean, these bots will probably be pretty fast and pretty strong. And I think the most important message today from this is that you should think less about the actual actions below and more about the rate of advancement. And the rate of advancement is absolutely mind-boggling when you think about it. We had quite a bit of good news this year. I mean, the stock is up. It more than doubled year to date. But this, for me as a long-term Tesla stock investor, this is the biggest news of the year so far. Because it also further proves that end-to-end is the right way to go, which is also actually really bullish for full self-driving. So think of a double whammy, but a positive one. We got end-to-end, and now we know we can actually use it on a bot too, and it works. I am so excited. I'm also curious how the stock reacts tomorrow. Institutions, I think, will say, nothing to see here. Jason is an all-in Tesla stock investor, and he has many millions in Tesla stock. If Tesla stock stays flat or declines on Monday after analysts view the new Tesla bot video this weekend, that should tell you everything you need to know about the short-term stock price. It literally means nothing, he says. I would trust an astrologer or even a palmist's predictions of events in my own life more than I trust the connection between short-term Tesla events and the stock price. It's almost completely random. A valuation is supposed to support the present value of discounted future cash flows, but the real opportunity for retail investors is that some of Tesla's largest future cash flows either exist outside the cash flow time frame or beyond the acceptable probability thresholds assigned by Wall Street, who remain insanely pessimistic about Tesla's ability to execute, despite it having both a long history of pulling off miracles and showing consistent progress in each of the massive future cash flow businesses that are unaccounted for. Wall Street is usually not terrible when it comes to figuring out short-term Tesla deliveries, for example, this quarter or next quarter. Usually it's pretty good at that, and long-term stuff, yeah, they are just not all that good. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed Assembly Bill 316, which would have required human attendance in driverless vehicles over 10,000 pounds. California will probably be the first state where they will have autonomous semis, so banning them or requiring a human driver in the vehicle or operator is probably not helping California. So I say this is a smart move. Tesla just began deliveries of the Model S in Japan. However, Japan is a right-hand country, so having a left-hand drive vehicle is not exactly convenient, but Troy says it is a status symbol. So instead of selling 150 units per quarter, he now says Tesla maybe will sell just 20 units per quarter. This will sound crazy, says Bradford, but the reason Tesla stock was down 4% on Friday is because of the lawsuit settlement over board of director pay. Why? I have never gotten more questions in such a short time span from my diversified clients, except for when we originally bought Tesla stock back in April of 2019. People see lawsuit and settlement and directors return cash and stock to Tesla, and they assume the worst, that the board of directors was somehow stealing. They think something is wrong, or they are just confused without clarity. The temptations to sell first, ask questions later. In my opinion, the board didn't do anything wrong. They awarded stock while the company was cash poor. The compensation only looks egregious because Musk and Tesla achieved what many thought was impossible. They took the market value of Tesla from $56 billion to $777 billion today. With that, the director's compensation soared. just as it should. I don't know if emails showed a lack of rigor or self-dealing or neither, but the directors settled. It gets better. The fact is, the board of directors has an important role in an extremely difficult business that is disrupting multiple industries: energy, manufacturing, and transportation. And of course, we need to add robotics, especially after today. The strategic direction the board of directors sets with Elon on a monthly basis is incredibly valuable. The settlement isn't a bad thing for Tesla shareholders. The board of directors is giving back cash and stock options to Tesla. Tesla isn't losing anything, and there is no admission of guilt. Without this context, people are nervous and selling. If anything, this is actually positive because there is less dilution in the long term, unless you think that the board is now not going to be as motivated as before. One other thing that exasperated the situation is because there was a settlement and shareholders have rights to voice support or opposition to the settlement. All shareholders got an email or mailer about the issue, and this is the first time they are hearing about the minor issue. People don't like surprises. So therefore, perhaps some people sold Tesla stock. It is also important to note that many investors are now lowering their expectations for this quarter, so I think that has some impact as well. And Bradford also said before that some people were not aware of the Austin shutdown. I think most people were aware, but some more new people just found out about it. And combine that with this lawsuit, and you have Tesla stock down that day. Shareholders started receiving notices last weekend, actually. So in theory, it put pressure on Tesla stock throughout the whole week. And I think this is the same lawsuit where the lawyers asked for $10,000 an hour. Hopefully they don't get that much. That is egregious pay. The Model Y production pause at Giga Texas is a rare event. Therefore, it was interesting to see how that was reflected in the VIN data. I added the orange line to show how VINs were trending up until September 4th, and then they flattened. I will have new DMV VIN data in the next few days, says Troy. This is proof that the VIN data is actually pretty accurate. I think James makes a pretty good point here about Tesla's energy business. Tesla's big advantage on battery storage is that they get the batteries for less than others because they are buying massive quantities for the cars. They can build the packs for less than others because of where they are building them. Again, most expenses flow to cars and have virtually no sales/admin expenses. It's mostly all sold through the website or through third parties. All of this helps the margin. Now, of course, one big argument against this is that Tesla buys batteries from other companies largely. So how can you have lower battery costs if you are buying them from someone else? Someone else by default should then have even lower margins. But eventually Tesla will start making its own batteries, and these other companies cannot sell their Powerwalls together with vehicles, so they have to spend more money on marketing, advertising, and sales. Gregor Truck says, interesting, my Cybertruck order specifications are missing now. However, the reply here says that you just need to click on manage order and the reservation specs are there. But here's someone saying that it shows nothing to him when he clicks on manage order. So it seems that only some people are affected, which could potentially signal that Tesla perhaps is changing some of the configurations and that the Cybertruck is indeed going to be released very soon now. James is on fire lately. He made some pretty good points here as well. I engage a lot of Tesla bears, always have since I started using Twitter. Their criticism tends to be focused on things that were promised but not delivered. Fair. I have that same criticism in some cases, but often this criticism is very short-term in nature. For example, semi. Technically, Tesla is late, but late based on what? They are only late based on Elon's initial timeline. The semi market is 99.99% internal combustion engine still. Are they really late? Look at how well the first generation of the truck is doing for Pepsi. I don't consider this late. Semi was rightfully deprioritized because of battery supply. Next, 4680. Is Tesla really late? How many other companies on earth have by themselves built a whole new battery supply chain, factories, designed and built new equipment, built millions of cells and put them into EVs, plus sold their EVs in 3 years? EVs have a 15% or so global market share. The energy storage business may be a 1% penetration versus potential. Is Tesla late? Only if you think in months and quarters not years and decades. Another example, FSD. FSD. Tesla is definitely late, right? How many cars can you buy with full self-driving ability? None. But Waymo, you say? Waymo loses $1.5 billion per quarter, and they have no way to make a profit with their business model. The cars and equipment cannot be scaled profitably, and Waymo operates in 2 cities where it never rains. So is Tesla really late on autonomy? No. Tesla is very late on Elon's expectations for autonomy. Often, perhaps, James focuses a bit more on the short term, but here, he is definitely thinking quite long term. I think this is slightly different, and I like this. You can submit questions for the next exclusive Q&A on Patreon. I will probably give everyone at least a few more days to submit all of the questions until I record the Q&A. By joining my Patreon, you will get access to how much I think it is fair to pay per Tesla share each year between 2023 and 2033. If you sign up for the investor tier of support, you will also get my valuation model of Tesla stock with a 45-minute video walkthrough. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this discussion with Elon Musk about the future, I highly suggest that you watch this one first. My name is Matt Postius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.